Good morning. You are welcome to another edition of Import-Export Platform, Facebook Live from 3Team Pest Trade Academy. We'll continue our conversation on export incentives for Nigerian businesses. Export incentives for Nigerian businesses. We started yesterday, and today we are looking at part 3. Export incentive for Nigerian businesses, and today we are looking at part 3. Export incentive for Nigerian businesses. Today we are looking at part 3. We've discussed the first one, which is AGOA, a unilateral trade law of the U.S. in favor of the sub-Saharan Africa. And yesterday evening, we looked at the ETLS, ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme, a multilateral agreement of the West African state, the 15 member countries of the West African state. And this morning, we'll move on to another one, still an incentive for export. And today, we are looking at probably about 2 or 3. This is from NEPC, and it's called the Export Development Fund on Service Export from Nigeria. Export Development Fund on Service Export from Nigeria. So Export Development Fund has been put together by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council for both commodity and service, but the one we are looking at now is for service. It's for service. The NEPC is trying to come up with a program to support service export, and indeed, service export is an interesting area that we have not really done much about in this part of the world, understandably so. Because of our, how do I call it now? Because of our focus on commodities, because we have not even started talking about services. We have not even started talking about services, but it's very important we understand the fact that, so we're not even talking about value addition. It's very important we understand the fact that exportation of services has come to stay in our world. Even though the volume of service export is still very low, but it's very important we understand the fact that exportation of services has come to stay in our world. The service sector is an important component of most country economy. In Nigeria, it's more than 50% now. Is create a lot of jobs, provide crucial input to the rest of the economy. In the process, service exerts significant effect on economy-wide performance and the overall investment climate. So, some of the service sector include health, education, water, sanitation, and also directly to achieving important and social objectives. So, the service sector is key. It's been said to contain more than 2/3 of the world economy right now. Services are now commonly traded across borders and held by technological progress. And it has increased the mobility of persons. As a matter of fact, in recent years, a number of developing countries have looked at trade in services as a means to both respond to domestic supply shortage and to diversify and boost their exports. So, a number of countries are now doing a lot to be able to boost their export of services. Export of services is growing, and it's growing really very fast. And it's very important we begin to consider it. And what the government has done is to ensure that they also take this serious by ensuring that service export is supported. Service export is supported. Because if it's not supported, we will not be able to grow export, as it were. As a matter of fact, as a step in not supporting service export, the federal government is currently working on NXP for export. NXP for export of services. So that we can seriously increase and increase the opportunities in that sector. Like I said, if you have a sector that is more than 2/3 of the world GDP, and it's more than half of Nigerian economy, what do you think? It's just wise to begin to take that sector a lot seriously. So services like transport, energy, communication, banking, insurance, legal services, accountancy services, design, softwares, a lot of technical service, even training, are all maintenance. They are all services that are currently being exported. Do you know that Nigeria, the health tourism is a service export to India that Nigerians do? The health tourism and the tourist sector in Dubai that people go visit different places, it's a service, and that service they are exporting it to the world, so the world come to see there. Because the way service works is, service can be rendered either by you going to that place, or it can be rendered across border. But the unique thing about service is that money is coming to the headquarters. So as long as it requires conversion of money from your local currency to foreign currency. So if I'm going to Dubai now, I will convert from naira to dollar, and when I get there, I'll convert from dollar to their local currency. As long as there is always a conversion, I will sell dollar in their economy, give them dollar and collect dirham to be able to do whatever it is I want to do there. So it's an export to Dubai. So they are exporting that tourism to the world. Now, if I'm an accountant and I'm able to help someone regarding their books right from here, so I can render the service by going to the place, as I can render the service by them coming to me. I can render the service by staying here and they stay there. Let me go over it again. In service export, I can render the service by going to that country to render the service. I can render the service by them coming to my place. And I can render the service by both of us staying at different ends and rendering it. So by going there to render the service, maybe I'm a lawyer, I fly into that country to render the service to them there. As an accountant, I fly into that country to render the service there. Now, in the health sector, they come to me. They come to me. In the health sector, they come to me. In tourism, they come to me to receive the service in my country. But the third level is software. They are there, I'm here. I develop the software and I send it to them. In these three options, I am exporting services. In these three options, I am exporting services. So I can export services directly. I can export services indirectly. I can export service directly. I can export services indirectly. You know, now the whole idea around service export is that I am generating purchasing power and bringing it to the country. And in rendering that service, I fly down. In rendering that service, they come to me. In rendering that service, we both stay in our places. So I'm calling upon lawyers and doctors and engineers and architects and software developer that, look, we need to begin to take this seriously. Some software developers are already doing it. There are people in Nigeria who develop software, who develop graphics, who develop intangible service products, and are deploying it to people outside. That is happening already. What we have not done is to capture it in our export, which is what government is doing by the filling of the NXPs. So that when you render that service, you can also enjoy the incentive from government by virtue of service export. You can also enjoy the incentive from government by virtue of service export. So it's very important we take service export very seriously. Lawyers, doctors, accountants, let's begin to consider how to render our services across borders. Across borders. Across borders. And what the government is doing, leading the way, is ensuring that this happens. You know what the government is doing? The government came up with an incentive. And that's the Export Development Fund on Service Export from Nigeria. This scheme, that's the scheme on Export Development Fund on Service Export from Nigeria, is modeled after the Malaysian experience and is to operate as part of the Export Development Fund, but this one is tailored towards service export, towards exporter of authorized and notified service. Exporter of authorized and notified service. That means you will enjoy this incentive. You will enjoy this incentive if this service is authorized and notified, authorized and notified, authorized and notified, authorized and notified. Authorized service in the sense that it's part of the services government recognized, and notified in the sense that you feel the NXP for service. You feel the NXP for service. Do you know that the World Bank estimated that service account for close to 60% of Nigerian GDP, and the last report still said the same thing, and a rise from about 53% in 2001. Now, this is comparable to other large economies in the world, but behind South Africa. In South Africa, services account for 70% of their GDP. Over the same period, the contribution of agriculture and industry has been on a declining trend, 22.3% and 20% for agriculture and industry. Agriculture and industry. Agriculture and industry are lower compared to service. The service sector, therefore, is the dominant and growing section of the country's economy. And this is not just in Nigeria, it's also in other parts of the world. Now, a closer look at specific subsectors revealed that while all sectors have registered growth, education, construction, and other services increased by over 100% in the last 5 years. Education and construction has increased significantly. That's in locally now. Available statistics indicated that Nigerian service export accounted for 2.6 billion in 2010. Since then, there has been a decline of about 40%. Now, so we've been exporting services, but it has not been captured. We've been exporting services and we'll be doing that seriously, but it has not been captured. So the NEPC is doing a lot now to be able to capture this sector. The sector targeted like ICT, financial services, entertainment had significant growth and export potential. As a matter of fact, Zaire expanded a total of 33 discrete activity, most of which were to be led by NEPC, are available in that particular space. So the whole idea now is that government is trying to ensure, number one, they build capacity, train, encourage, and enable people to be able to not just render that service, but also register the service with government. Not just render that service, but also register with service with government. Because if you don't register with government, we won't be able to capture it, we won't be able to know how much service we are really rendering to the outside world. So this is very, very, very important that you also, as a matter of fact, begin to consider service export. Begin to consider service export. If you have not been doing it, you need to begin to do it. You need to begin to think of the services you have capability to render and how to begin to ship those services out. And this is very important because of how much services command in our world today. Ima Okon, thank you very much for joining. Good morning. Tajuddin Adeleke, thank you very much for joining. Good morning. Silas Irabo, thank you very much for joining. Good morning, and you're welcome. The Export Development Fund on Service is a scheme to provide assistance in form of reimbursable grants for specific activities to Nigerian companies or entities that intend to carry out formal export of approved services from Nigeria. It's a scheme to provide assistance in form of reimbursable grant for specific activities to Nigerian companies and entities that intend to carry out formal export of approved services. Approved services like legal service, design service, ICT, entertainment. We have been doing a lot in entertainment and ICT. Nigeria has been doing a lot in entertainment and ICT. And it is high time we begin to consider structure around exporting it. Structure around exporting it. So that at the end of the day, we can capture all the opportunities and benefits in that sector. Remember, we have not done that for a while now, but we need to begin to put that into practice. We have not done that for a while now. Very unfortunate, but it's good we are at least putting it, it's now in the front burner, and government is doing a lot in that space by even creating a document that can be used to capture. I think we must give it to government. The objective of the Export Development Fund for Service Export from Nigeria is to encourage the export of approved services from Nigeria, is to expand export of services by increasing participation and awareness of the expertise of service exporters from Nigeria in the global market, and recognizing service export as a major source of foreign earning in Nigeria. Recognizing service export as a major source of foreign earning in Nigeria. We have not recognized it up until now, and we have not been able to enjoy the benefit. We have not been able to enjoy the benefit because we have neglected it. We left it behind. We could not see the opportunity. But today, we have now taken it serious and now seeing the opportunity in that particular space. Also, enable Nigerian exporter of service to remain competitive internationally. So the idea behind the grant or the EDF fund, Export Development Fund for Service, is to encourage people in that sector to want to do more and to register their export, is to expand the services to other services that we currently are not even considering, is to recognize it as a major source of foreign exchange earner, and to enable Nigerian exporter of services to remain competitive. To enable Nigerian export of services to remain competitive. The next one I'll be talking about today is the Export Support Litigation Fund. Export Support Litigation Fund. Export Support Litigation Fund. Now, there is a challenge with this incentive because currently Nigerian Shipper Council have what they call the Cargo Defense Fund. The Cargo Defense Fund. The Cargo Defense Fund is supposed to help you with litigation outside Nigeria. That if you have litigation outside Nigeria, if you are a member of Nigerian Shipper Council and you pay your dues and you report an issue that happened to you on your transaction that will require some legal services, Cargo Defense Fund is going to help you pay part of it. But NDPC is coming up with the fund again, probably because of ignorance of Cargo Defense Fund, or because they see Cargo Defense Fund has not been efficient and they can't see anybody benefiting from it, or because the publicity is low, or because they feel that they are the one in charge of export, so they should be the one deploying that fund. I mean, for whatever reason, in my opinion, Nigeria is good for it if we have two sets of funds to defend exporter when they export, to be able to ensure that they can seek redress and get justice. And we have two sets of funds that Nigeria can access, one with MPA, one with NDPC. I think Nigerian exporter is the winner. So the bickering between the two organizations, I won't have to worry myself about that at all. The Export Litigation Scheme, Export Support and Litigation Scheme, is to provide necessary assistance to exporters for legal challenges that may arise while exporting their goods and services. Services to be provided under the proposed scheme include legal technical advisory service. Legal technical advisory service. Legal technical advisory service. Oluwuwo Samuel, thank you very much for joining. Good morning. Legal technical advisory service. So that's one of the services I can enjoy. You know, a lot of Nigerians have exported and they've been denied of their payment. Some very illegally. Some they might have reasons, maybe because of the quality of the good. Some there is no basis for those actions. There's no basis at all. There's no basis at all. And Nigerians are not getting what is due to them because of the fraudulent nature of some buyers. Because of the fraudulent nature of some buyers. So this cargo design fund, in my opinion, is a very good one that should help Nigerian exporters to be able to enjoy the benefits of their labor, the fruit of their labor, by virtue of what they are providing. I mean, as an exporter, you have already shipped your goods, and you should get what is due to you. And you know, sometimes we think Nigeria is the only one that are dubious. You need to see where some people are dubious, both in Europe and Asia. You know? But the beauty of this is to be able to advise you and be able to help you seek redress. Number 2, financial assistance to pursue claims and litigation. Financial assistance to pursue claims and litigation. Financial assistance to pursue claims and litigation. Financial assistance to pursue claim and litigation. Financial assistance to pursue claim and litigation. So they provide funds for you to be able to pursue claims, litigation, and even arbitration. To pursue claim, litigation, and even arbitration. And I think up to the tune of 2 million naira or so. Assistance in foreign legal representation where necessary. Assistance in foreign legal representation where necessary. And for lawyers that have skill in this area, maybe you want to partner with NEPC to also help to represent Nigeria abroad where necessary. Assistance in foreign legal representation where necessary. Provision of quality information service on export. Quality information service, legal service. Quality information, legal service on export. Also to convey alternative dispute resolution forum. To convey alternative dispute resolution forum. And the exporter also shall benefit no more than 50% of the total cost. So whatever cost the legal services you are requiring is, you are going to benefit about 50%. So this export support litigation fund will cover 50% of whatever cost you are incurring. It will cover 50% of whatever cost you are incurring in being able to pursue that case, and subject to a maximum of 2 million naira. Subject to a maximum of 2 million naira. Subject to a maximum of 2 million naira. The next one is new manufacture inbound scheme. New manufacture inbound scheme. Now, what does this mean exactly? This was established by the Incentive and Miscellaneous Provision Act of 1990, which was amended in 1992. There's an act, Incentive and Miscellaneous Provision of the federal government, that make provision for new manufacture inbound scheme. Now, this was designed to encourage manufacturers to import duty-free their raw materials input and other intermediate products, whether prohibited or not, for the production of exportable goods backed by a bond issued by any recognized commercial bank or insurance company or development bank. The bond will be discharged upon presentation of evidence of exportation and repatriation of proceeds. The scheme is administered by a committee in the Nigerian Export Promotion Council Secretariat. Look at how this happened. Let's say I am an exporter, and the only thing I do is to export manufactured goods. So if I export manufactured goods and I import raw material from abroad, if my good is only for export and it's manufactured good only for export, I am allowed to import my goods duty-free. So I will import that raw materials. Either the raw material is prohibited or not, I'm allowed to import it. I will import that raw materials. When I import that raw materials, I will give custom a guarantee, a bond of the duty payable. Now, custom will hold that bond while I clear that goods, and then I go to manufacture. So that raw material I've imported, let's say it's 100 tons. And when I finish manufacturing, I can use to produce goods of 200 tons. So when I finish producing these 200-ton goods from these 100 tons raw materials, and I exported the whole 200 tons, and I have evidence to show that, and the fund coming into my account as export proceed, I will be discharged of paying that duty. So custom will give me back my bond. They won't call on that bond. So that means I have an incentive to import my raw material duty-free. This is a law of Nigeria. It's a law in Nigeria. It's a law. It's a law. If I import raw material, and I know this raw material, I'm going to produce goods that are not going to be sold locally. I import the raw materials, I manufacture the goods, get a quality inspection to be done by a reputed inspection company, and apply to NEPC to validate that these goods were legally exported completely, and I bring in my export proceed. Then I can apply to ensure that I don't eventually pay duty, and custom will give me back my bond. This is basically saying that government has in place laws to encourage exportation of goods from Nigeria and discourage any form of duty payment. This is a law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What you need to do is to take advantage of that law. For this one, it's right there inside our law. So it's not like a committee have to meet to give you the money. You already can take advantage of it by applying to NEPC, apply to custom, bring in your raw materials, give custom a bond, produce the goods, ship all the goods out, do all your pre and post export documentation, and ensure that the proceeds come into your account. And then you have all that it takes to enjoy this benefit from the federal government. I'll be stopping here today. In the evening, we'll be continuing, still discussing export incentives for Nigerian businesses and an extension of why you need to join the export team. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Mendele Ayimibo, and this is Import Export Platform brought to you by Treatment Academy. See you in the evening, and have a good day. Thank you very much.